This is a very common type of problem when you're dealing with exponentials and logarithms. It's an excellent one to get to know because um, it's like one of the keys to solving many problems. So knowing your laws of exponents, you should know that 2 to the x plus 2 is just equal to, well, this is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. How many times? X plus 2 times. So if I do 2 to the x, that means so look at this is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 x times, and this is just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 x plus 2 times, so 2 extra times. So this is going to be times 2 times 2. Right? So 2 to the x plus 2 is the same as 2 to the x times 2 times 2. Right? It's just, this is 2 multiplied by itself, x times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. There's an extra 2 there. Right? So the exponent law says that 2 to the a plus b is the same as 2 to the a times 2 to the b. That's another way of looking at it. It's just knowing that exponent rule. Okay, so knowing that, we can say that 2 to the x plus 2 is just 2 to the 2 times 2 to the x minus 1 times 2 to the power of x equals 96. All right, so now we could factor out a 2 to the x. So 2 to the x times 2 squared. Well, instead of 2 squared, I'm just going to write 4 minus 2 to the x times 1 equals 96. So 2 to the power of x is equal to 96 divided by 4 minus 1. So 96 divided by 3. 2 to the power of x is equal to, what's that, 32. Now I already know the answer because 32 is perfect. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. It's equal to 5. But let's say we didn't know that. We can go on and say the log base 2 of 2 to the x equals the log base 2 of 32. And these log base 2 of 2 to the x, log base 2 and 2 to the something, those are inverses of each other, so that's just equal to x. X equals log base 2 of 32. Now let's say you have a calculator that doesn't do log base 2, you could just do log base 10 of 32 divided by the log base 10 of 2. And when you do that in your calculator, you will get an answer of 5. Voila. All right, like I said, one of the keys to look for is when you have these, the same base, or maybe you're going to have one with a base of 4 and the other with a base of 2, and you should recognize that as, 4 is just 2 squared. So a lot of times they'll try to trick you. They'll have a 4 to the x plus 3 and maybe a plus 2 to the x minus 3. And then you could just say, well, this is the same as 2 squared, which is 4, to the x plus 3 plus 2 to the x minus 3, something like that. And then this is going to be 2 to the 2x plus 6 plus 2 to the x minus 3. And then this is going to be, and you just keep working that way. So this is going to be 2 to the x times 2 to the x times 2 to the 6 plus 2 to the x times 2 to the negative 3. This will be 2 to the x squared, so 2 to the x squared. 2 to the 6 is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Plus, this is 1/8 times 2 to the x. Right, so you could do stuff like this, and then you get yourself a quadratic here, and I don't know, there's a lot of things like that. So these are the sort of things you want to look out for. It's just you really have to know your exponent laws and try to get something common in all your terms. Okay, I hope that helped. All right, we got 3 to the power of 2x minus 5 to the power times 3 to the power of x equals negative 6. All right, well, 3 to the power of 2x is 3 to the power of x times 3 to the power of x. 5, 3 to the power of x. Let's say plus 6 equals 0. This is 3 to the power of x squared minus 5 times 3 to the power of x plus 6 equals 0. If this isn't factorable, I could just use the Pythagorean theorem, but not, sorry, the quadratic formula. Let's see if it's factorable first. So we got, this is 1 times something squared minus 5 times something plus 6. So let's say minus 3 minus 2. So this is going to be 3 to the power of x minus 3. 3 to the power of x minus 2 equals 0. Right, so 3 to the x is kind of like the variable. Right, like if this is saying, like this is a lot like saying 1j squared minus 5j plus 6 equals 0. So this is just j minus 3, j minus 2 equals 0. And so j equals 3 or 2. There's two different answers. Right, so here we're saying 3 to the x equals 3 or 3 to the x equals 2. Two different answers. Right, so for this one, x just equals 1. 3 to the 1 equals 3. This one's a little bit weirder, so we can say take the log base 3 of each side. So you're going to get x equals the log base 3 of 2. If your calculator's one that doesn't do that type of thing, you could just say the x is equal to the log of 2 over the log of 3. I don't know what that equals, but I'm sure you could pull that off. All right, hope that helped.